Jennifer Safier. I'm a partner at the law firm of Fine Nolan and Anderman, and here with me today is my partner Vincent Rosillo, who runs our workers' compensation department. We've been getting a lot of calls regarding stress at work and stress-related injuries. So we are going to discuss what's compensable and what's not. Hi, Vin. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen. How are you?
I'm good. So can work-related stress be compensated under workers' compensation law?
You know, during these very stressful times, we've been getting a ton of phone calls and questions about workplace stress. And yes, workplace stress is compensable. It is possible to have your case established under the workers' compensation law with work-related stress, but it's very difficult, very complicated, and it's one of the more unusual and more difficult cases to get established.
Okay. And if you were able to establish a case, what type of benefits would be available to those people?
So you would get the normal type of benefit as if you were hurt at work by lifting a box or slipped and fell. So you are entitled to lifetime medical care for that injured or established site. So you would get possibly psychiatric care, no out-of-pocket expenses from you. And that's probably the biggest benefit of workers' compensation is the medical. Mm-hmm. So it's illegal for a doctor to take money from you in a workplace case. So you walk into the doctor's office, you walk out. There's no copay, no deductible, there's no lifetime cap on the amount of benefits that you can receive when it comes to medical treatment. So it's very important that people are aware that the medical component is oftentimes more beneficial than the monetary benefit. The monetary benefit would be 2/3 of your salary with certain maximums depending upon the date of the case was established. So it is possible you can get weekly money and the lifetime medical care.
And during this time, your employer would have to keep your job open, is that correct?
No, it's possible that you could lose your job. The workers' compensation law does not protect your job while you're out of work. If you belong to a union, you may have contractual benefits that protect you. And if you're covered under the Family Medical Leave Act, you'll have those protections. But the workers' compensation law in and of itself does not speak to job protection.
Okay. And are there any special requirements for these stress cases?
Because it's not an unusual slip and fall type of situation, they are more difficult, as I've indicated before, so there are certain types of requirements that must be met. So the stress cannot be considered normal business stress. So if it's part of your job to deal with the stressful public, or if you have just a mean boss, that in and of itself would not be enough to have a case that's established. You must meet certain criteria that shows that the stress that you are subjected to is more than what a normal working person would receive. So for instance, if you work at a call center and you have stress placed upon you from the constant calling of unhappy customers, that would not be in and of itself a case. But as a situation develops where a customer would be threatening to you, threatening to come down to the office to kill everybody there, or to come to your house and do bodily injury to you, that rises above normal business stress, and that would be compensable. So that would be a workplace type of situation where the board would establish that case. It arises out of the course of your employment, and it's more than just a normal type of business stress. And the claim can't be based upon something that would be lawful under the law. So you can't say, well, my boss doesn't like me and he fired me. In New York, you're an employee at will, most people, and you can be fired for any reason that's not unlawful. So you can't be discriminated against because of your race, your age, your color, your sex. But if you are terminated for any other reason, that's a legal termination, generally speaking, and that would not be a workers' compensation case.
Okay. And are any types of workers exempt from either of these two special requirements?
Well, if you remember, I indicated that it has to rise out of the course of your employment, and it has to be more than the normal business stress. So for a while there, the first responders, ambulance workers, firefighters, who see the most horrific things, really, responding to these accidents, they were not eligible for stress because the law said what's part of your normal job is to deal with these types of accidents.
Right.
So the law has been changed so that first responders don't have to show that it's more than normal business stress, because dealing with the type of situations that they deal with, it's now understood that that should be compensable.
Okay, and one last question. Could you just give us, because it does seem like there's a lot of gray areas, and I understand that, but do you think you could give us maybe some examples of stress cases that were determined to be work-related?
Well, I think a good example is of the call center situation
Mhm.
where normal harassment, and I hate to use the word harassment, but you're used to dealing with irate
people.
customers, and your boss is always stressing you and how many calls you're taking in an hour, and you may have all kinds of implications on even just going to the bathroom. So that would not be considered a normal business a workers' compensation case, or even just having a mean boss would not be. But certainly if that customer came down and threatened to do bodily harm, that would be a case. Or if you're a truck driver driving and you get into an accident and you happen to run somebody over and that stresses you out from causing that type of an accident, that would be a workers' compensation case. So those are just a few of examples that could arise out of your workplace stress.
Okay, so it sounds like it's probably best for, if people think that they might have a claim, to give the office a call.
Yeah, because they're very complicated, so I would definitely say don't try to do a case like this on your own.
Okay, so if they want to call the office, I'll contact you. What's the best way to do that?
So you should call 1-800-522-9001, and our website is www.foalaw.com.
Great, thanks, Vinny. That was really helpful.
Thank you.